Let's further discuss this with Jalal Abu Khatir, the advocacy manager of the Arab Center for the Advancement of Social Media, Hamle. He joins me live now from occupied East Jerusalem. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. I mean, when it comes to Israel's war on Gaza and Meta's censorship, it's interesting to see how the algorithm works, because videos of Israeli soldiers actively bombing residential buildings in Gaza are going viral, while pro-Palestine posts are less visible. Walk us through how it works for Meta.
In regards to the videos of Israeli soldiers going viral, I think that also has to do with them documenting evidence on their own. This is a self-documented genocide, and Palestinian investigation journalists are digging through the archives and looking at what Israeli soldiers are posting as clear evidence of war crimes and crimes against humanity in Gaza. But what Meta is doing, Meta is systematically through its policies, silencing Palestinian voices in a way that basically prevents people from sharing information, from telling their stories. Many users face lots of restrictions, especially the ones from Gaza, and we continue to see this until today. Users who are posting and commenting about Gaza and sharing information, even sharing the really horrible pictures of the results of Israeli attacks on civilian shelters in Gaza over the past few weeks. Even yesterday, Meta continues to restrict accounts that share those horrifying evidence of war crimes and genocide. In a way, Meta justifies this by saying that they are acting against a large number of content that could be in violation of their moderation policies. They don't want to see violent content, graphic content. They also have a list of what they consider to be dangerous organizations. So any Palestinian is subject to more scrutiny in this disproportionate manner, and there are automated means which take hold here, and they act only on Palestinian content from this region of Palestine and the Arabic language in particular, to ensure that that kind of content is policed more than any other content, resulting in this large number of censorship and restrictions that we continue to see.
Right, as you were talking there, we saw images of the messages that have been sent to content creators on these social media platforms, particularly journalists like Mu'taza Zaiza, that was active on platforms like Instagram and Facebook, sharing his experiences on the ground in Gaza. One thing that we can say about this censorship is it's failed in silencing those voices, because social media has played a profound role in not only changing the narrative, but sharing the message of these journalists on the ground in Gaza that have used social media platforms like Instagram as their tool to do so.
Indeed, we do recognize this fully. Social media has played a hugely important role. Even when you mention videos by Israeli soldiers going viral, those videos are also going viral for a reason, because social media is a space where you can present evidence for the situation in Gaza, for the reality and the genocide, and as evidence of what's happening, to call for people to mobilize, to take action, to take to the streets, to protest. Social media has been crucial in relaying the message from Palestine to the world. This genocide must stop. We recognize this, and that's why we think this work is really important with the work we do at Hamle, that we want to ensure that every single Palestinian, their digital rights are safeguarded. The right to free expression, the right to access information, those rights are important and they must be safeguarded. Because we want to ensure that the voice continues to be heard across the world. We know on mainstream media outlets this is not always the case. Palestinians are not giving an equal space to present the narrative of Palestine, to present their case and to share information. We don't believe there is balance in how mainstream media around the world presents the story from Palestine. And we think there's a lot of bias that has to be countered by people on the ground, by citizen journalists, by human rights defenders. And indeed, social media has been a very important place for this kind of information sharing.
What has been the negative aspects of the censorship that we've been witnessing on Meta platforms?
Indeed. So we have this report that just came out yesterday. It shares 20 testimonies from Palestinian journalists, influencers, media outlets who have experienced various forms of censorship. And the thing that we have seen that is very, in common across people is that their livelihoods have been impacted and affected. Their credibility as journalists has been impacted negatively. Those journalists and media outlets have dedicated their time and effort to share information, to write news reports, um, and they have been doing so for a while now. So what the censorship has done, through shadow banning, through the deplatforming of certain media platforms, they've lost revenue, they've lost actual jobs, they've not been able to reach the audience as it used to be before the war started. There's a lot of negative impacts that those people have felt, and it's affected their work negatively and also sidelined Palestinian voices.
Okay, Jalal Abu Khater, the advocacy manager of the Arab Center for the Advancement of Social Media. Hamla, thank you so much for being with us here on the NewsHour and sharing that insight with us. I appreciate it.